mild cognitive decline is not a death sentence. I am 74 years old, and I have continued to have a kind of active professional life as a professor. But about 5 years ago, I began to experience acute mental issues, problems, insomnia associated with memory loss, and I was diagnosed with mild cognitive decline, which is a spectrum leading to Alzheimer's. 4 years ago, I think, that I began to see myself on this decline spectrum. It gave me tremendous anxiety because it was considered a death sentence. And that's when I reached out to look to therapies that could possibly address not only the problem itself, but the anxiety.
What were some of the specific things you noticed in your day-to-day life that made you realize that you were starting to have some issues?
There is a term that is associated with mild cognitive decline. It's called executive function. And it's the ability to think through what you want to do and then execute plans to do it. It became difficult to move forward to actually do things, like going to the market and then not even remembering if I brought a car or if I walked somewhere.
So Craig, you started discovering you're finding yourself with these symptoms, which is, as you said, was frightening, challenging, as you labeled it, a death sentence. Where did you go in your next step in your journey to try and get help for this?
I went to a neurologist, and the neurologist in effect said that, well, we don't have a cure, we can only kind of track your decline. And they mentioned that there's certain drugs that may or may not slow the pace of decline. But it was horrifying to go to a doctor with their white coat and all the prestige of science, basically saying there's nothing that can be done. You're on a track leading to your death. You might as well realize that your best days are over.
Yeah.
And so that was terrifying. And it led me into depression, frankly. And it led me finally where I learned that actually there are protocols that are quite promising that can address mild cognitive decline. And what are the ways that mild cognitive decline can be halted and reversed? So there was a moment where I realized, hey, I can look around and maybe find the right thing for me.
Yeah.
There's something called the Bredesen protocol, which is really a kind of basket of many therapies. But then I sort of broke down one after another of these approaches, and I saw that common to all of them was the absorption of oxygen.
And you actually went through the Bredesen protocol yourself, correct? Did you see any results from the Bredesen protocol as far as improvement in your executive functioning and some of your symptoms?
I think the most important thing is that I realized that I could go step by step into behavioral change. I began to feel through Bredesen that, wow, I could be empowered, that I could do my own research on myself to find out what works and what doesn't. Bredesen does not really offer a one-stop solution.
So after the Bredesen protocol, I believe you mentioned a counter pulsation therapy. Was that the next one that you tried?
Yeah, I learned that my neurons, my neurological system was collapsing and being restricted because of lack of oxygen and oxygenated blood. And so there is a protocol that is no longer offered very much, not available through insurance, quite expensive. It's called counter pulsation therapy. And I did that and I totally benefited by it, but it wasn't feasible to do it.
Yeah.
But I understood that the basic science behind it of getting blood into the brain was what I needed to do for my health.
Yeah. And I know, and another thing too is like you've made your entire career on your intellect, correct? You used to be a professor, if I remember correctly.
I didn't used to be. I
Or you
am,
still are.
sweetheart.
I apologize.
Yes.
Yes, you still are a professor of
I am a professor, visiting professor currently of China's leading university, Beijing University. I am an advisor to governments, but guess what? Under the grip of the anxiety and the memory loss, I stopped working. And now, thanks to the oxygen therapy I am receiving, as well as other changes that are carryover from predecessor, I'm now functioning at the top of my game professionally. I am totally shaking up. I'm an advisor on the theme of the use of emergent technologies like artificial intelligence, how it could help the world, not harm the world. I'm doing good work that I was born for because I've been given a bit of time that I thought would not be available to me to do what I was born for.
Yeah, beautiful.
I didn't used to be. I
Or you
am,
still are.
sweetheart.
I apologize.
Yes.